Alrighty, so hey guys, I'm Sage Valentine. Welcome to my channel. Right now I'm going to review tonight's episode of Fox's Scream Queens. I'm still completely shocked at what happened at the end of this episode and how the killer treated Zayday and Gigi's connection to one of the killers, and the fact that this chick was wearing red, the fact that the killer did not kill her. All he quote unquote did, or she hit her over the head with something and then just run away like it was nothing. It just didn't make sense to me at all. But then again, I'm starting to question how Zayday escaped so quickly away from the killer. See, now this show has me questioning everything that I've seen so far, and I may go back and watch the first 4 episodes. This is the reason why I love Ryan Murphy's work and why I love this show so much, because it makes you question everything that you have seen. And yes, I am a big fan of American Horror Story Hotel. It's fantastic this season. As far as Scream Queens goes, Chanel's reign of terror is about to end because Hester is trying to take her down notch by notch, and she's nipping at her heels, and she is about to basically knock that crown off of her head by any means necessary. And Hester is still kind of crazy, still kind of weird. And because of Hester, that's the reason why Chanel #1, or Chanel Oberyn, ended up in jail with her Orange is the New Black looking friends in there. And Chanel is now going to have to watch herself around Hester, but at this point I still think she doesn't believe that Hester double-crossed her. She still thinks it was either Chanel #3 or Chanel #5. Speaking of Chanel #5, that scene in the garden maze, I guess you could call it, that scene was hilarious with Roger and Dodger. I can't tell those two apart as far as their names. But the one that died only because his brother yelled to him and told him, walk backwards. Then the devil won't get you. And apparently the devil was there and he got him. But I thought the most hilarious part of that scene had to be when both brothers were trying to make Chanel choose between them. Meanwhile, this killer is running around with what they call pruning shears, I think those are, trying to kill them. Never mind, those are hedge clippers. And poor Jennifer is just so easily swayed that I don't think she's going to last very long in this season. I know some people are probably saying, well, Zayday may not last very long. I don't know, because one of the killers kind of fancies her, so they might keep her alive. Even though she stabbed his hand, still, she might be alive, but I don't see Jennifer living very long. I really, really don't. Okay, Gigi and Grace's father, Wes, totally get their groove on, kind of, sort of, and poor Grace walked in on it, and I felt for her so much. I mean, I understand her dad hadn't been doing the do in a while, but still, no child wants to see that ever. And speaking of doing the do, apparently Chad Radwell really gets around because he likes to have sex with Denise, and they do role play. Who has this dude not slept with? I swear. And apparently we learned something very personal about Chanel #5, because when Chanel gets out of jail and she's pissed and she thinks that Chanel #5 turned her in and had her sent to jail, she's after her and she threatens to tell everybody that Chanel #5 basically plays with herself while watching Dora. Not Dora. Not Dora. Not Dora, no. No. The only question that I had halfway through this episode were, what were Oakland nachos? I'm assuming those were the, I guess, the ranch chips with the syrup on it or something. I have no idea what they are. I've never heard of them before. And when I saw them sitting on that table in that room above the chute where Zayday was, then I realized before it even happened, I was like, this killer's trying to wine and dine this chick. Like, doesn't she like Oakland nachos? And they're sitting here on the table. Speaking of that scene with Zayday and the killer, I don't know about you guys, but I was getting some serious Silence of the Lambs tea from that. Because, especially when you look down the chute and you saw her down there, but at least she had a comfy pillow that was like red with like this little like pallet on the floor or something that was kind of comfortable. And then you see the killer as she's looking up holding the dog, and I was thinking of Buffalo Bill. And then it was just like that scene at the end with those like what do they call it, night vision goggles. Everything to me in that scene was Silence of the Lambs, just like in that whole scene with Chanel No. 5 and Roger and Dodger as they were running away from the killer in the garden maze. I thought of The Shining. Some of the music in this episode was also kind of Shining-esque as well. So apparently this older lady rents out her cellar, doesn't know who this person is that's renting it, doesn't care so long as she's getting some money. Which sounds familiar if you think about it. If you watch all of these like criminal shows and horror movies and stuff like that, there's always somebody who does that in all those shows. I've noticed that quite a few times. But anyway, speaking of that scene, okay, when the group splits up basically and Denise ends up with Gigi, it didn't dawn on me that Gigi was wearing red shoes and a red jacket, and I wasn't even thinking about it until I started doing this review. And the thing about it was that they go into this room and it's got all these red tools and stuff like that, which was like basically a red herring, a sign like this is the killer's room, the killer's tools, and I should have like picked up why Gigi was also wearing red, and it was just like a correlation, and it just didn't hit me. But the funny part about it was that when those lights went out and the killer was in the room and he had his like looked like a meat saw to me, because it wasn't a chainsaw, it was that weird like saw thing. I forgot what it's called. My grandfather used to have one of those years ago. But anyway, when Denise accidentally tased Gigi, and then Gigi tased the killer, Denise ran out the room because she heard Grace screaming, if I remember correctly. And to make a long story short, Gigi was left with that killer. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I assumed if the killer woke up, he was going to kill her. And then they come back in this room and she's still alive. And there's nothing wrong with this chick. And she's talking about she got hit in the head or something by the killer. It doesn't make any sense to me. But then I'm also questioning how Zayday escaped from that killer unharmed like that. And then there's the whole issue of the killer trying to wine and dine Zayday as if they liked her. And I'm sure they're going to be mad because she stabbed them in the hand, but I don't think they're going to give up the whining and dining. I mean, the dude gave her presents and Oakland nachos, and he pulled her up through the hole, and then they sat down and he gave her roses. Like, some people on Twitter were saying this could be Earl Grey, and that would make sense. But then I'm trying to like convince myself that it's not that easy, and it probably isn't even that easy, which is why I truly believe that there's more than 2 killers. But if I'm wrong, I will totally admit that I'm wrong, but I get the feeling like there's more than 2. Like, there's quite a few people running around in Red Devil masks in this season. Okay. So as I said, the Red Devil got away, and to make a long story short, at the end of the episode, we find out not only that Zayday got away and everything, and that the girls that she was in the room with, I think it was Chanel number 3, Chanel number 5, Chanel, and Hester, Chanel number 6, were all trying to figure out what happened to Zayday. But as I said, it was a little suspicious how Zayday just made it away from that Red Devil like that, completely unscathed. Like he wasn't that mad that he didn't try to grab her or drag her back. But the ending is what truly got me, when Gigi was walking alone. I figured the killer was going to get her, and then you see the killer trailing her. And then she turns around and says something like, "You're late," and she needed somebody to die. And I could have sworn I heard her say something like Zach. But I'm wondering, is she talking about Grace's boyfriend? And I completely missed the name. If you guys figure that out, definitely let me know. But to me, it sounded like Grace's boyfriend to me, because she's not about to get Wes killed. So, I mean, I'm just saying. But you guys take care, and thank you for watching my crazy impromptu review / speculation of tonight's episode of Fox's Scream Queens. Don't forget to rate this video, leave your comments, let me know what you're thinking about this season, who you think the killer is, and what you thought of this crazy episode, because I'm all here for it and I can't wait until next week's episode. But until then, hit me up on Twitter and Google+. Subscribe to my brand of crazy. I love you guys. Take care. Bye, guys. Bye.